Prices worse. Talking about Venezuela once again. Systemic important banks. They removed the 1,000 thing on there called monetary preparedness. RTD News midday check-in. Wow, what a heck of a day thus far. Commodity prices through the roof, and of course, the current administration decided to completely cut off what was already a dwindling supply of oil and energy. In this push to basically just close off Russia to the world. But yeah, more pain at the pumps, basically what it means. So looking forward to sharing a couple thoughts and getting your take as well. Won't be long. Just want to check in. Came across an interesting little visual display, and I thought I would share that with you guys as well as talk about future predictions of what could be the beginning of a much, much, much higher Brent crude oil price in the days ahead. So hope everyone's doing well. For those that are tuning in, definitely want to hear from you in the chat. Let me know where you're watching from. And if you're new to the channel, definitely hit the thumbs up button, as well as click the bell notification if you guys want to be notified when we move forward with live streams. We're going to try to do more of these throughout the day as more stories develop, share my 2 cents on it, and get your take. Mind you, everything we're being told is a part of a much greater narrative. And so I don't want you to just think about, the narrative being given to us about Russia, Ukraine, because we were having higher energy costs well before any of this jumped off a few weeks ago. So the cover-up is, of course, the geopolitical events as well as everything else. But the underlying issue at hand is that the current monetary structure is shifting away from the Federal Reserve note. We're witnessing that with the current price of an ounce of gold as well as other commodities, all priced in Federal Reserve notes. Let's be clear. All dollars are not created equal. Let's distinguish between that. Gold, silver, real money, Federal Reserve notes, derivatives. And right now, the world is priced in those derivatives, and the derivative itself is failing. So, all right, let's keep moving. All right, so let me just send out a couple people real quick, and then I'm going to jump into some information here. We got BC Matrix. We got Kevin checking in. JoJo. We got Yarrow. George, Lightning for the Faith Parent. Nelson G. Appreciate you for taking time to join me. Let's jump into some headlines. But first, before I do that, I want to share with you just his clip because something that he said really triggered emotion in me, and I want to get your take on it as well.
I'm announcing the United States is targeting the main artery of Russia's economy. We're banning all imports of Russian oil and gas and energy. That means Russian oil will no longer be acceptable at U.S. ports, and the American people will deal another powerful blow to Putin's war machine.
The American people will deal another powerful blow to the Russian war machine. The American people. Does this have anything to do with you and I? Of course not. But when he threw me in the category as well as I'm sure you guys as well, he lumped us all in there as American people dealing another blow. The American people want nothing to do with this other than the fact we're being sold on this whole big bad guy out in Russia causing issues with Ukraine. And just more of the fake narrative is the fact that seeing billboards of supporting Ukraine. We got celebrities coming out talk about supporting Ukraine, all the media, all the photos, all the videos. And I saw somebody post something the other day about how during these same type of events 10, 20 years ago when we were in Iran, Syria, Yemen, you name it, there was no push from the West using the mainstream media to get behind the U.S. invasion on those nations, supporting those individuals and those nations. But yet we're supposed to believe that Russia's the bad guy and that we're supposed to get behind Ukraine. And of course, atrocities are taking place. But then, of course, there's a greater story behind that. Anyway, let's jump right into some news today. So I couldn't help but come across this visual aid here, basically just highlighting how bad things are at the pump. And of course, we knew that, but we're at, relatively speaking, all-time highs. And it's just the beginning, and it's compartmentalized throughout the country. And of course, the coastal regions happen to be hit the hardest. And so we have here just something that says the average gas prices in the U.S. reached $4.17 per gallon today, the highest in history, breaking the previous record of $4.11 set in July of 2008. And we know what happened immediately following that time frame. So yeah, we haven't seen nothing yet. And then to piggyback on more, I came across something that really caught my attention. And so the I Am Legend movie that came out in 2007 with Will Smith, and it looks like they're going to be doing a remake of that movie. But it talked about times during the apocalyptic type of events, dealing with some type of virus being released and how it impacted humanity. Of course, we all know about that movie. Great movie by Will Smith. But there was a tweet out there that highlighted the price of energy at that same time, where Will was at the gas station pumping for oil. And so the little meme going around is that, the price during that movie there, which the futuristic event at that time frame, I think it was 2012 or so, and the movie was placed in 2007 or something like that. But just looking at the price at the gas station there, it was just Will and his dog. It's $6.63 for regular, and people are saying that, hell, that's cheap compared to what's happening out in California. And so I thought about, that's definitely something that's interesting in of itself. But let's jump into just a couple things that is trending on the social media sphere right now. And this is from Wendy Rogers, Arizona politician. She says Biden has declared war on oil and by default, our wallets. This is why we shut down the Keystone Pipeline. And so, of course, President Biden came out talking about just, I want to be upfront with you guys. I want to be transparent with you guys. I mentioned that, the events unfolding in the Ukraine and Russia, there will be some costs that the American people will have to deal with and adjust to. And this atmosphere, these are the costs that we're referring to, ultimately meaning, just an assault on our wallets, assault on our purchasing power of our currency. And it's just beginning in a sense. So we all kind of expected this to happen, and here we are now in the beginnings of it. So it is what it is. We all know how and what we should have been doing well before now, but it's never too late. But in the natural realm, things are definitely starting to reveal themselves. But here is a response from the former administration. Even though he doesn't have access to Twitter, his fans and supporters still manage to share his tweets throughout the day, or his posts throughout the day. And so here is the actual post in and of itself for those that are interested. But it says, statement made today by Donald J. Trump, 45th President of the United States of America, says, just confirmed that most of Europe won't go along with the United States in boycotting Russian oil and gas. As usual, the United States will be left out there alone, being taken advantage of by Europe as we defend them, while we read in the fake news how everyone has come together under Biden to fight Russia. And so, of course, continue to dig at him, just because how can you not dig at him? Because it's clear as day. None of this comes from him. It all comes from his handlers, those that are the people who prepare his speeches. And so they're basically just using this guy as a damn puppet, but we all knew that. But to keep it moving right along, as we're witnessing the Brent crude oil price spike, it says crude oil jumped 7% as the U.S. bans Russian imports. And already, based upon the sanctions, the world has been forced to turn their back on Russia, and that includes accepting their energy as well as all the other commodities that they provide to the world. And everyone's experiencing a pinch in some capacity. And so by passing this current embargo on Russia, it will only further create more pain for the world itself, especially those in Europe, because they're directly connected via the Nord Stream pipeline. Talking about even cutting that pipe off, which ultimately, with the remaining, month or two or so of winter, would literally send the gas prices in Europe to all-time highs beyond what they are now. And so the energy crisis that's close to the borders of the Ukrainian-Russian event will only make its way throughout Europe, and of course hit the United States hard as well. And this is just heading into a time frame where during the summer things might die down on the energy sector, but heading into next winter, we could see some things like we could never have imagined before. And speaking of what we could never have imagined before, is this headline right here talking about the possibility of seeing $300 oil given this current embargo situation. And so it says Russia says energy embargo could send oil prices over $300. And so just looking at current figures right now, of what the current futures price for Brent is at this moment. It's at 124-ish, taking a little bit of a dip. But as we see over the last couple of weeks, it's shot up tremendously, well over the last year when it was down to $50, $60 a barrel. And so if this embargo continues, which I'd imagine the powers that be, the ones that are orchestrating this entire experience, they want to see as much pain as possible because it makes their job easier to build back better in accordance to their fourth industrial revolution plan for humanity, including price controls pretty soon that will lead to central bank digital currencies and everything that goes from there. So we kind of knew what was happening. But this has been underway for quite some time now, and it's just becoming evident to mainstream because now they're going to try to find ways to cover all this up to make it less obvious, pointing back to the monetary policies and fiscal policies that were already at play and driving up these current prices that we're experiencing now. So $300 oil possible in the future. As of right now, depending on how things play out, it could happen with the way the wheat price and all these other commodities are at all-time highs. Nickel going through the roof, lithium going through the roof, you name it. Everything that's a part of the periodic table, as I've been mentioned before, is that ultimately everything essential for life can be found on a periodic table. And as of right now, at this current moment, everything is priced in Federal Reserve notes terms. But the ultimate agenda of everything we're experiencing is the repricing of all these items on this, on this periodic table here. And of course, there will be a decoupling, which is currently underway right now. The reset is currently in play right now as we speak. We're witnessing the destruction of the purchasing power of the Federal Reserve notes, pricing all these items right here, which are essential for life. So every item on this list here, especially around this area here in the metal space, is doing some things. And of course, the last one to do anything of substance will be silver. And so as of right now, we're at 2609, and gold is nearing its all-time high in Federal Reserve notes term, or to put it in a different way, the Federal Reserve note is at an all-time low priced in gold. And that's another way of looking at it. But more to come. There's going to be more things to touch on, but yet this is where we're at. We all knew this was coming. And the biggest thing right now is to continue to try to inform the masses, giving them a different perspective, because they will literally continue to buy into the narrative that it's Putin's fault. And Putin is more so just a cover up because he's also playing along with this as well, because outside of what's being done to his country and his people, they already have the infrastructure and the plans ready to, as I said before, click that switch and bring in an alternative to the current petrodollar system, which is eroding at this current moment. So anyway, just want to check in real quick, share my 2 cents on some things. Got a lot of other stories I'm looking at just me in the meantime. So I'll be probably doing another live stream in another hour or two before we jump into the People's Talk Show. So in the meantime, invite a friend to the People's Talk Show at 4 p.m. so more people can plug in and get a chance to hear from you guys, because it's your voice that makes all the difference, because you have a platform in which you guys can speak. So that's the benefit of being able to share and connect with like-minded individuals. So back at it again in a couple hours. Hit the thumbs up button, share your comments below this, share this video so more people can find out what's possibly at stake, with much higher prices in the days ahead. Other than that, be blessed, be safe. See you guys in a couple hours. Peace. Visit Rethinking the Dollar throughout the day, your place for news on metals, gold, crypto, you name it. Scroll down to the bottom and you get a chance to see the daily videos, the recommended videos, and more importantly, the 5 reasons to unplug from the monetary matrix, with the first one being the awakening period. Step number 1, test your dollar IQ. 10 simple questions, average is 60%, followed up with the alternative perspective with the monetary reports. Consider becoming a supporter of the Rethinking the Dollar platform via Patreon. Get a chance to hang out off air, as well as additional information that can't be discussed on YouTube. Any support is helpful. With the crackdown on alternative media, the best thing to do is to connect off air. Scroll down to the very bottom. You can find Rethinking the Dollar on Telegram, audio, Facebook, Twitter, Parler, you name it. The most important ones will be the email list where you can get notified weekly, the Discord page, and make sure you connect on Telegram. And last, don't forget to visit the RTD store where you can get merchandise as well as additional information and resources. And most importantly, scroll down to the bottom and get your weight up with all the limited edition rounds only available on the RTD store.